Welcome to the Irresistible You podcast. This is the place to get a dose of empowerment to create the life you crave and deserve. I'm your host, Amy Beltran, CEO and founder of Irresistible University. I'm a confidence coach here to help you love yourself, drop the body image issues so that you can lose the emotional weight and gain the confidence to look and feel irresistible at any size. All right, guys, welcome to this week's Irresistible You podcast episode. I am super pumped for this topic because this topic today is literally the heart and soul and the core of this podcast, my blog, my coaching programs, my courses, my journal, every single thing I do in my business with Irresistible You and Irresistible University. This is the underlying message that has built all of the stuff that I talk about. And this is what just like fuels me up, pumps me up. I'm super passionate about it. And I really want to make sure that you get this message and that you understand it. Because if you don't truly get this, you're not going to be able to achieve the goals with your weight journey that you're trying to achieve. And that is the topic of why you have to learn how to love yourself before you get to your goal weight. Okay, I get it. It's like, wait, Amy, but how? How in the hell can I love myself now when I can barely stand to look at my naked body? I can barely stand to touch the fat rolls. I get in and out of the shower as quickly as possible because I don't want to touch my naked body. How am I supposed to love all of this if it absolutely disgusts me and I can't even stand being in my own skin? I get it. Trust me. If anybody gets it, it's me. And so it's kind of like this weird place to be in where you're uncomfortable and miserable in the body that you're in. You want to lose the weight and you're hearing me telling you that you really need to love yourself now, even before you get to your goal weight. And you're thinking, but I'm only going to be able to love this if I get to my goal weight. Okay? I know it's complicated, but let's break it down. Let's unpack this baby. So let's think about this for a minute. If you've been on the yo-yo diet, body hate, shame cycle for years, running on the hamster wheel, doing the same things every week, starting over on Monday, going back into binge mode by Wednesday or Thursday, there's a reason for that, okay? And the reason that you are not able to get to your goal, the reason you're not able to maintain your weight, the reason you stay on the hamster wheel, the yo-yo diet cycle, is because you're constantly giving up on you. You're giving up on yourself. So the woman that you are now, if you're constantly giving up on yourself, that is not love, okay? And so what I want you to do is separate you, the person, from your body right now. Okay? The body is just a shell that you are in. And the weight, I always say, the weight that's on your body is a symptom of something else. It's not the actual issue. It's the symptom of all the stuff I'm going to talk about right now. It's a symptom of someone who gives up on herself. It's a symptom of someone who has given up. Maybe you've just given up on everything, right? But most importantly, you've given up on yourself. And this is the reason why it feels so hard for you. This is the reason why it feels like a never-ending hamster wheel. You're like, I'm just destined to be fat and miserable forever. This is just who I am. I'm just going to throw the towel in because I can't do this anymore. This is just how I am. It's not. The reason you're like this is because you're someone who keeps giving up on yourself. Because you don't believe in yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? And all of this is what it means to love yourself before you're at your goal weight. Because the problem that so many of you have, and so many women in general, is that, and this is because we've been conditioned this way by society and by diet culture. We've been conditioned to believe that the way that we love ourselves is to get out of the body that we're in that's making us miserable by losing the weight as quickly as possible, and that's it. focused only on diet and exercise and nothing else. Because none of these other diets, none of these other doctors, a ton of nutritionists out here, a lot of these professionals that are in the professional health and wellness space do not focus on the emotional weight. And that's what I talk about on the podcast. And that's what I focus on in my programs, right? And so what I'm trying to say to you is that you're not going to automatically like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to love myself. Hands done, hands in the air, I'm done with this. I love myself. It doesn't work that way. So what you have to do, that's why I say you have to learn how to love yourself, right? You have to start taking the actions of someone who wants this for her future self, that loves her, right? You have to do this for the person that you can become, that you know you're able to become, because you can't just try to get the weight off and then try to become the woman that you've always wanted to be, right? It doesn't work that way. We've got to learn how to do this on the weight loss journey, because just because you lose the weight physically doesn't mean you're going to get to your goal weight and be like, oh shit, I'm a size 6. Look at me. I'm hot. I'm sexy. I can't believe I can wear this. Crop tops. Woohoo. And then like you're still this woman who hates herself on the inside. But everybody thinks you're happy and amazing because, oh man, you're in a size 6. Congratulations. Woo woo. Right? No. So we have to address the emotional weight now, while we're losing the physical weight. And that's what I mean by learning to love yourself now. And the way that we're going to learn to love ourselves now is to get rid of the bullshit stories, the ideas that we have for ourselves, the limitations that we've put on ourselves, because all of that is not self-love. And so self-love doesn't mean you stand in the mirror naked and you're like jumping up and down, jiggling your fat rolls and being like, woohoo, I love this. That is not self-love. And if you're doing that, girl, power to you. That is, I mean, hey, right? But I'm not telling you to do that. What I'm telling you is you're still going to look in the mirror today, tomorrow, next week, and you're not going to like what you see 100%. But you're also not going to get to you're going to get to your goal weight and you're still not going to like what you see 100%. The difference is you have to learn how to see something on your body that you don't love and be like, moving on. That's self-love. You're able to love yourself unconditionally, just like you would a partner, right? And so the reason you're staying on this yo-yo diet, body hate, shame cycle, again, is because you keep giving up on yourself. And you give up on yourself because you don't think you're worth a shit. And when you don't think you're worth a shit, why would you put the time and energy and effort into that person? If you don't think another person is worth a shit, are you going to put time and energy into them? No. And that's what you're doing to yourself. And so people that constantly give up on themselves are doing that because they don't truly believe and love themselves. And so then, you do your whole, I'm going to start over on Monday and let's binge eat all the shit in the house between now and Monday and hit up every drive-thru, every favorite restaurant, have 50,000 Last Suppers. And then you start back on Monday, and by the end of the week, you're back to your old habits and you're sitting there beating yourself up, telling yourself you're such a piece of shit. I'm a fat failure. I'm never going to amount to anything. I can't do this. I can't stick to anything. How come I can achieve other things and I can't lose the weight? Why can't I lose the weight? I can do everything else I put my mind to, but I just can't get the weight off, right? So all you do from that point on, that's why I call it the body hate, the yo-yo diet, body hate, shame cycle, because that's what it is. So now you're in the shame cycle, beating yourself up, calling yourself names, self-esteem is in the gutter, telling yourself you're never going to be able to do this, giving up on yourself over and over and over again. But then being like, all right, well, I guess, summer's coming, so I'll start over on Monday again. And it just keeps repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. You guys, it's exhausting. Like, I am so tired even talking about it. And I lived this way for like pretty much my entire life. And it's exhausting and it's draining and it feels like you're going insane at times, right? And so when you're sitting in this body that you right now don't love and you've gained a shitload of weight and you don't want to see people, so you're turning down people's invitations, you're not going to the summer barbecues, you're not going to the cookouts, you're not going to the pool parties, and you're sitting hiding in your house with the AC on, that's because you've got so much guilt and shame around what you look like and how you got there. So it's guilt and shame around the body that you're in, because when we're addicted to food, when we use binge eating and emotional eating as a coping skill, that's really hard to hide, isn't it? Because we gain weight. And so we can't hide the fact that we've put on 50 plus pounds. And so now you've got all this guilt and shame around the fact that, is anybody going to recognize me? They're going to talk about me behind my back. I don't want to show up and people see me this way and, blah, 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 blah. So you've got all this guilt and shame around what you look like. And not only that, around your habits. So you feel like you're on the constant shame cycle of, I feel like shit, I look like shit, I just want to sit on the couch, in the AC, in the house, turn everybody's invitations down, and I feel really guilty about that, and there's a part of me that wishes I was going outside and hanging out with friends and doing things that are social and wearing the cute clothes and wearing the bathing suit and wearing the shorts, but I just can't do it right now. And so it's this, so then because you feel like shit about yourself and you feel guilty and you feel shameful, what do? Ooh, Grubhub. Ooh, DoorDash. Ooh, or Uber Eats. Let me get some takeout. And let me order like it's for 4 people. Right? We all do it. I've been there. Been there, done that. And so the cycle never stops. And it's not because you can't stick to a diet. Diets are stupid. Okay? It's not because you can't stick to P90X workout plan and the keto diet and the low carb diet. It has nothing to do with that. It's because you have no love for yourself, you have no compassion for yourself, and as a result, all you do is give up on yourself and beat yourself up. And then you just play the victim card and stay on the yo-yo diet, body, hate, shame cycle until when? Until when? When is enough enough? Right? You have to get to a point where you're just like, enough is enough. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's what happened for me. I lived this way my entire life since I was in elementary school until I was in my 30s. And the weirdest, as many diets as I have started and stopped and stopped and started and gained and lost and gained, is me standing in my kitchen one day looking at a picture. It wasn't even like a super overweight picture. And I was just like, damn, man, like I can literally tell you, you give me any picture from my lifetime, and I tell you right now, I will tell you how much I weighed, what size I was, what diet I was on, and how I felt about myself at the time because of my body. And I was like, yo, that's a problem. That's ridiculous. Why am I basing my happiness around a size? Why? Right? So sometimes you don't always need to have this aha moment. You just need to decide, like, enough is enough. I'm tired. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to stop this, but I want to learn how. And that's what you have me for, okay? If you don't know where to begin, you reach out to me and you ask me, right? So also what happens when we're in this cycle is that we put self-care on hold. And what do I mean by self-care? What I mean by self-care is taking care of you. Going out and doing things you love. Going out and getting pedicures. It's from the internal stuff that we have to do to take care of ourselves to the external glam stuff. I call it getting your glam on. It's one of the 5 guiding principles in my program. And when you're feeling guilty and feeling shameful around the weight that you've gained and you can't stand to look in the mirror, do you really think you're putting all your investment in self-care right now? No. So guess what? It makes it worse because now you're not doing your hair, you're not doing your makeup, you're not dressing for the body you have now. And all of that on top of the weight gain, the emotional weight, and all the feelings and the anxiety that's like stirring inside of your body, it just makes it worse. Because you're now carrying yourself in a way that tells the rest of the world, I gave up and I don't give a shit about myself. Not because you gained the weight, because of how you're carrying yourself, because you have no confidence, because you don't show up, putting effort into your appearance. And I tell the girls in my course all the time, like, looks do matter. And I'm not talking about looks in terms of like we have to fit into a stereotype, because y'all know that is I'm like anti the stereotype. Like we can't fit into a box. That's part of the problem. What I'm talking about is working with what you got. And when you don't take pride in what you look like and your appearance and how you carry yourself, that just like puts a whole nother layer of fat right on top of you. Because that's what happens. You already feel like shit. You go out of the house, you've got your messy bun, you haven't done your hair, your face is a hot mess. The clothes are baggy and gross and just stretchy clothes. You know what I'm talking about, guys. And so what do? You keep your head down, your shoulders scrunched over, and you kind of walk around and can't look anybody in the eye because you have no confidence. Why would you? You don't need to be 125 pounds to have confidence. You get confidence from taking care of you. You get confidence when you stop giving up. You get confidence when you do what you say you're going to do for yourself. You get confidence when you stop calling yourself every name in the book. You get confidence when you give up all the guilt and the shame that you have around your weight. That's where it comes from. It doesn't come from the size. And so what I'm trying to tell you guys, if you don't work on this stuff now, and everything that I have said, this is all emotional weight. If you don't work on this stuff now, you're still going to be a woman who's a size 6, who has no confidence, who beats herself up, who keeps giving up, and does dangerous things to lose weight. That's what ends up happening. And then you live in the constant fear that it's always going to come back. You're always going to gain the weight. It's always going to come back. So all of this has to be addressed in the journey. You don't do weight loss in a bubble. And that's what so many of us do. Like, I did that all the time. I remember, like, okay, I'm going to put my head down. I'm not going out with anybody for like the next 6 months. I'm going to just like lay low, hermit in the house, not go out, not see anybody, because I don't want anyone to see me until I lost the weight, because I built up this fantasy moment in my mind. I built up this fantasy moment from like one of those stupid 90s like high school movies where the girl was always like super cute, but she had glasses on, but it's like, oh my God, she took her glasses off and her ponytail down and now she's hot. Like, I had this fantasy in my mind that I was going to be like that, except I wasn't going to be fat anymore. And so that fantasy just ruined my life in terms of like putting things on hold and not working on the stuff that got me here in the first place. Not working on the skills and the things that I need in order to never gain this shit back again. Okay? I'm down 60 pounds and I haven't gained it back. And I've still got weight to lose. And I'm losing it slower than I have ever lost in my life. But good God, it's not coming back on. I don't care if I go a month and not 1 pound comes off my body. All I care right now is that I am maintaining and losing, and I'm doing it in a way that it's not coming back, and I'm living my life, and I'm happy, and I don't feel restricted, and I don't feel like I hate myself all the time. Right? So you've just got to get to this place where you may not love what you like. You may not love what you see in the mirror today, and that's fine. That's fine. And I've said it before, like, to tell you, like, just love yourself. Like, that's insulting. Because it's It's simplifying a much more complicated issue. And so the way that you start to get there, the way that you start showing yourself some love now is not just like, oh yeah, girl, love myself. No. You do what you say you're going to do. If you want to get the weight off and you are committed to this journey, then you stay committed. Right? Because the thing is too, like on the weight loss journey, I see this happen all the time, and I've been in these shoes before too, where we get on a journey. Let's say we're losing weight, it's coming off, and you know how the first couple months it's like boom, boom, boom. Every week it's coming off when you're like on it, right? And then what happens? We have a plateau. We have a gain because the new car smell has worn off, and we've got to keep going on this journey. And the new car smell is gone. And so that's the moment when, and it's usually like 2 months into the plan, 2 to 3 months in, I always see this happen. That's when we give up. That's when we say, oh man, I start and stop all the time, because you keep starting and stopping all the time. You stop doing that when you decide you're not going to do it anymore. And that's what I've had to do. I've had to get realistic and say, you know what? Life is life. There's going to be days where I just do everything really well. And there's going to be days where I go to Brewster's Ice Cream and have a caramel hot fudge sundae. And it's okay. Right? Because also on the journey, if you're putting everything on hold for the goal weight, how are you going to deal with the rough parts of the journey, the detours on the journey? How are you going to deal with that? Because when you have weight to lose, you're going to have weeks where you gain. You're going to have weeks where you stay the same, even though you did everything perfectly, right? You're going to have bad days where you just want to binge. And there's going to be days where you are able to fight through it, and there's going to be days where you give in and you revert back to how you used to eat. But it's okay. The way that you stop the whole like yo-yo diet start-stop cycle is to just keep going. Don't slash all 4 tires. Like, how stupid would it be if you broke down on the highway because you had a flat tire and you're like, yeah, girl, let me get out my knife, and they like slash all the other tires on your car? That would be so stupid and ridiculous. So I want you to think about that. When you go out and you have a blowout meal, or you have a binge session in front of the couch with Netflix, so what? Move on at the next meal. Not a week from now, a month from now. Well, it's Thursday, so let me eat everything in sight between now and Monday. See what I'm saying? Like, on the journey, you're going to have failures, you're going to have binges, you're going to have bad days, you're going to have gains, you're going to have losses, you're going to have maintains. And so you've got to also work on the emotional weight. You've got to work on loving yourself through the journey, not at the end, in the end only, because that's why you keep failing. Because you've put this high expectation version, perfected version of yourself up on a shelf, and you're like, I'll go get her when I'm done. But until then, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, keep my head down, trying to lose the weight. I'm not going to do anything good for myself between now and then. And here's the deal. When you start doing things for yourself, when you start dressing and wearing the size you are now, you're going to feel better and you're going to look better. Because if you think wearing big baggy clothes is doing you any favors, it's not. Right? So do your hair, do your makeup, do the stuff that makes you feel pretty, that makes you feel glam, that makes you feel irresistible. Go out and buy clothes. Who cares what the size is? Because no one's going to see the size but you. It doesn't matter. And you're like, well, I'm going to lose the weight anyway. Yeah, you are. And so when you lose the weight, guess what? You're going to go buy new clothes. You just have to look at this as like a journey of like all of you. It's not just about the weight, right? It's not just about losing the weight. It's about reinventing who you are as a person. It's about becoming the irresistible woman that you crave to be, that you deserve to be. And she's already in there, regardless of what size you are, right? And so I want you to start showing yourself some love, some compassion. Stop calling yourself names. Stop beating yourself up. Stop hating yourself just because you've gained some weight. Right? Because we can get it off. We can get the weight off. But we also have to get the emotional weight off because that will stay with you. And it still sneaks up on you even when you've gotten your body where you want it to be, right? So I want you to like digest all of this, no pun intended, and really start thinking about how can you be better to yourself now? How can you stop quitting on yourself? How can you stop beating yourself up? How can you stop the cycle so that you can start living the life that you know you want to live? All right, guys. If you need help, I'm here. Reach out. I will put links in the show notes. I can help you with any of this stuff. This is what I do. My signature program, Irresistible You, addresses all of this. So if that is something you are interested in, I will put the links down below as well. Let me know how this episode was for you. Go over to iTunes, pretty please, and leave a rating and review. I swear it only takes a couple of minutes, and it goes a long way in terms of helping me with the podcast and helping other women get the empowerment and the confidence that they need to lose the emotional weight. All right, guys, I will catch you in the next one, and until then, stay irresistible.